trouble so hard. Ooh, Lord, my trouble so hard.
So now we are getting to the real meat of the story, and by that I mean more stupid, illogical things are going to happen, and the film wants you to root for these one-note caricatures. Oh well, I tried. Hermione walks alongside the fence and she sees someone looking at her, but she can't see who it is, and neither can we. And since there will be plenty more escape attempts throughout this film, and this is the only time we see someone as a sentinel, we have to assume that the person here is the old lady, who does sentinel job this one time and never again. Why this one time, you might be wondering? Well, that's because the plot needs to happen. Silly you. Oh, and throughout the film they say this to each other.
God bless.
God bless.
My subtitles say it means God bless, but it just sounds like God bless. So I don't know. I don't even know why they speak English in the camp. It would make sense if they spoke German, since the leader, Lazy, came from Germany, or Spanish, since they are in Chile, but English makes logic because I don't know. You gotta love that security though. They didn't even check for weapons. Hermione could have a fucking Glock and kill the bitch right here, or she could even have dynamite on her and just explode when she got close to the leader. This is without a doubt the most relaxed cult camp in the history of cult camps. Oh, these little things telling how many days Hermione spent in the colony are a joke, since her character will not change. And I mean that literally. There is no character development while she's inside the colony, so this is all pointless. But they're pretty, I guess.
You wish to join us?
Yes, Mum.
Oh, now she asks if Hermione wants to join the colony. I wonder what would have happened if she had said, nope. I actually have an AK-47 inside my bag and I'm going to kill all of you. Then this movie would have something for me to work with it. She leaves Hermione alone. Why? Why does she assume that Hermione is trustworthy? Then Hermione has an interaction with a boy that leaves the room crying, sees her, walks close to her and stops. Why did the director told him to walk until he was near Hermione and then stop and wait until she talked to him? He doesn't even say anything to her, which is strange since the kid left the room Lazy was in, and we learn later on that Lazy is a pedophile, so it would make sense for the kid to ask Hermione for help or something, but nope, he just stands there. Why? After that, the old lady tells Hermione to go see Lazy for a general confession, which by the way is going to be hilarious, but I still have to wonder the reason for the old lady to just assume that Hermione doesn't have a knife on her or a gun and she doesn't want to kill Lazy. I mean, this camp is religious. Shouldn't they be on the lookout for people sent by the devil to turn them away from the holy heaven or some shit like that? No? Okay. And by the way, this was the point I realized that Hermione's name is Lena. That sounds German. So is this movie suggesting that she's also German? Because she has been doing an amazing British accent so far. It's like nobody in this movie gave a shit and they just did it for the paycheck. So Hermione talks with Lazy and she doesn't even try to act like someone who believes in all this crap and really wants to join them, and neither does Lazy for that matter. They just look like two people who couldn't possibly give less of a fuck about what they're doing. Then he realizes that she isn't telling him everything, so he asks her to undress and we see her bra. It reaches the point where one of the main caricatures could have been abused and it doesn't look like she would even fought back. She doesn't even have hard evidence that Zemo is there, and if he hadn't been, this movie would have been amazing. She would have just stayed there forever, or until she did something stupid and then died. After that cute meet, old lady tells us how the colony works. Apparently men, women and children live separately, because it's better that way. Even though this contradicts what happened earlier when the kid was crying and his mom or someone came to pick him up and told him to stop crying. And how do the children manage to live separately from their parents? Who teaches them the rules of the colony and makes sure they don't die? Who? And since I'm asking for people, who the hell put this film together? It just jumps from the moment where the old lady tells Hermione to tie down her boobs with bandage and Zemo being carried away to some place, and then it cuts right back to Hermione. Did they really need to show us Zemo being carried away? Couldn't they just show us later that he was in a hospital bed and we would assume he was taken there and he didn't travel by magic? We don't need to see every single thing that happens in the story. It looks like Hermione remembered to take one thing with her in this exposition of Nothingness. No, it wasn't a weapon, or a map, or something useful for that matter. It was a picture of her kissing Zemo. How sweet. And I'm sure that picture is not going to be found by someone later and fuck everything up. So Hermione starts making friends, and this dialogue is just...
Yes, I'm from the outside.
Just look at her face when she's trying to say the words. It's almost like she can't believe how dumb this dialogue is. I feel you, Emma. Then for some reason, girl number 1, that's what I'm calling her by the way, she starts talking with Hermione about something extremely private.
Can I tell you a secret? I may be getting married soon.
Really?
Why is she telling her this? Later on we discover that apparently this colony doesn't like when people get married. So you gotta wonder how the hell did they last so long without people fucking each other and creating babies. But anyway, since it's not a good idea to tell people you are getting married, why is this girl confiding this information with Hermione? They just fucking met. Hermione could even be a spy sent by Lazy to find out which of the girls has been committing sins. Is this girl really that stupid? Or is it the script? You decide. Right after that, old lady shows up and makes everyone take a pill. Now these pills are blue, and I'm betting they're not the same ones Charlie takes. You would assume they are some sort of medication to keep everyone under control. But this and another scene later on in the film are the only moments where the pills will be referenced. We never actually learn what the fuck the pills are for. This movie is either an 8 or an 80. Sometimes they take a pause for exposition, other times they just don't tell you things and expect the audience to fill massive blank spaces. Again, who wrote this? On day 2, we learn that Zemo could be mentally retarded and Hermione starts playing Farmville. How nice. After that, we have yet another pointless scene. Although this one might actually serve some purpose, I'm not sure. Another patient, someone who I can call retarded without being meant as an insult because that's how he's acting, walks in and the doctor takes him back to his room. That's literally all it happens. At first I thought Zemo was going to take advantage about the fact that nobody is watching him and the door is open, but no. The only meaning I found for this scene is that Zemo watched how the guy was walking and talking and then decided to pretend to be like him in order to fool people into thinking he has brain damage. But that would make the earlier scene where the doctor said he could have brain damage completely pointless, and also that would mean that Zemo is even more of an idiot than he already is. He needs to see how a retard acts in order to fool people. He couldn't by himself start to act like someone who with brain damage. He didn't know how they acted before. How's that possible? This film tries to end the day with a scene of Hermione crying, but couldn't they have done another take because this clearly looks like she's trying to force tears to happen. This looks so... ugh. Anyway, day 9 now, and yes, nothing was developed in those days. In fact, it even looks like this could be the first day Hermione arrived there. They probably filmed every one of these scenes in the same day, which hurts the movie because there's never the feeling that time is actually passing. You just know that time is passing because those PowerPoint stills tell you time is passing. But fuck it, we're on day 9. And this is the day you'll see why I call Lazy lazy. So on day 9 we have a demonstration of Lazy's powers, because that's the reason people follow him around. He has some sort of special connection with God, and now he's going to try and bring someone back from the dead.
But I can see, I can feel. Because it's God looking through me. It's God talking through me. Yes! I'm calling you, Alfred. Come out of your coffin. Get up and live. Come and rise. Rise from death to celebrate the Lord Almighty. Lord Almighty! Because you shall live. Yes. You shall live. Alfred, live. I am the resurrection and the life. And I'm telling you, Alfred, who believes shall see the glory of the Lord. I'm telling you, to overcome death. Rise! 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 Pius,
We all saw it, and we all heard it. When you called Alfred, it wasn't your voice. It was God's voice.
What? That was God's voice? If that's the case, then God sounds a lot like lazy. Because it was the same fucking voice. This film doesn't even have the balls of making pious some con artist that fooled people into believing he has a connection with God. They could have just used some trick like in The Wizard of Oz. Oz isn't really a wizard, he just uses technology to make people think he's powerful. But this movie cares so little about the audience that they didn't even try that. There was no blue lights in the sky, no thunder, there wasn't even a voice modifier to make people hear a different voice as soon as Lazy spoke into the microphone. This guy says God spoke and everyone agrees along. I mean, seriously, Colonia, and everyone involved in this film, go fuck yourselves, you lazy cunts. So we're back at playing Farmville, and thank God they told us what day it was, because if they hadn't, I would think this was the same day, because nothing changes. Old lady starts talking with Hermione, and for some reason she says this.
You know, come here a minute. I know, it's awfully difficult at the beginning.
In the beginning, I thought this was day 37, but it's still the beginning? Okay. Old lady talks with Hermione in a nice way, which is suspicious since she has been doing nothing but treat her like shit in every other scene they were together. But Hermione doesn't see it like that. Hermione thinks that this is normal, and so she just plays along and tells old lady everything about girl number 1, and how she thinks she's getting married to some guy she only saw once.
Especially Doro. She just loves you. And now she's getting married.
She said so.
I'm so happy for her. She must have told you about her fiancé.
Not really, just that they're in love and his name's Dieter.
Yeah. Dieter. Doro and Dieter. What a perfect match.
I mean, how stupid can you be? While Hermione keeps fucking everything up in her Facebook game, Zemo is busy pretending to be Leafy. I mean, pretending to be a retard and working in a forge, I guess? But this isn't just some place to work with metal. It's also the place where they develop pictures, and more specifically, where Zemo's camera that he lost earlier in the film happens to be. Who the fuck would even pick up that camera? And why did they take it to the same place they took Zemo? And why they gave him a job in the exact place where his camera was? And how did he knew the camera was there? Look, I could keep going, but by now I'm guessing you realize that this movie is just Ugh.
What the fuck are you doing?
Nothing. I need to pee.
Did you pee in here?
No.
Did you piss into any of these containers?
No.
Take a piss outside. Damn it.
So, he's just going to believe that Zemo wanted to pee so badly that he found the keys to open the locked door? I mean, why not? It makes sense. The old lady takes the girl number 1 away, and it looks like things aren't looking so good on her part. Apparently marriage isn't a holy thing in this place. I know, it doesn't make sense, but neither does the majority of things that happen in the film. So they beat the shit out of girl number 1, and I'm not sure if the gang raped her or not, but she's never seen again. Hermione saw a good portion of what happened to girl number 1, but the most important piece of information that she got from this moment is that if some girl does something bad, she is taken to a room where all the men are together. Well, actually she still needed to learn the exact name of the meeting.
What was that last night?
Man's gathering.
Because what this movie lacks of are more pointless scenes like this one. So next she's going to try and do something stupid to see if Zemo is among the men of the colony. I mean, really? That's really what you do in order to get caught? from all the things you could have done, like stealing food or just tell people you're getting married, you decided to walk through the forest, find water and swim naked. That was the best thing you came up with? What if the first person that had found you wanted to rape you, or drown you, or both? What would she have done? There are so many variables to what could have happened to her, but she doesn't give a shit. Once she makes up her mind, she will follow the plan, no matter how retarded it is. And realize that if Zemo hadn't decided to escape at the exact time, Hermione could have died. And this whole story would have been even more pointless than already is. But then again, the movie would be over, so... Now we jump into the future. It's day 130. Will we see any significant changes and progress to the story? No? Great! By now it's time for a mixed parade, because our main caricatures need to realize that they're both living in the same place after all. And the reason for the parade is because the president is visiting them, although by this point in time I have no fucking clue who the guy is. They actually provided some context for this.
I say,
I have night shift.
God bless our president, General Pinochet.
Wait, he's the president and the general? Can you be both at the same time? Now that Zemo and Hermione have planned to meet up later, we learn that this camp is sexist. I mean, it wasn't really surprising, women are treated worse than dogs in this fucking place, but it's so cute that the male version of the old lady, the old man, is actually nice towards the men. He doesn't even call them sluts.
A volunteer for guard duty?
Huh?
Not you, Hans.
Well, why not?
Why don't you let him? For once.
Just look at how many potatoes she has there. I don't think that's a one-person job. Zemo explains Hermione and the audience how lazy got so powerful. And, yep, you guessed it, it makes no sense.
Chef understands that family gives you a home, a sense of belonging. So he broke up the family, separated men from women, children from their parents. That's why he became so powerful.
So apparently, separating families, men go to one place, women to another. This allows someone to control them. How and why? And this would also suggest that everyone inside the colony has a family. If that was the case, then wouldn't they close the door to new people wanting to join them, especially people that don't have families? How do you control them? So they talked, and then the plot needs to progress, and so they find a secret place that takes Zemo to some underground tunnel. As you can imagine, that's how they're going to escape the summer camp. Meanwhile, for some reason, Lazy gives Hermione the job of spying this girl, whom I shall call girl number 2. And I honestly have no fucking clue why. Not why I call her that, but why she's spying on her. He says he can smell that something is wrong with her, and we do learn that she's pregnant. So I guess that's maybe it. Or maybe the script needed a reason to make Hermione spend more time with girl number 2, and this was the best they came up with. Maybe. Let's skip through a lot of the stuff that happened, because most of it is just pointless and dull. Girl number 2 realized that Zemo and Hermione are a thing, and also from that picture, she also realized that Zemo was just pretending to be retarded. I don't know why she would make that assumption. After all, Zemo could just wear that picture as a reminder of the life he lost, but fuck it, the movie needs to progress. Zemo discovered that they can escape using the tunnels, and that if they don't escape right away, they're going to use him to test a deadly gas, and is going to die. And Hermione's face when he tells her this is just, it's amazing.
Poison gas. The idea is I won't survive.
My God.
I don't think she loves you, bro. I don't think she loves you at all. He gives her pictures of everything he saw down there. Then there is this subplot of the old lady discovering the photos, but fortunately Zemo comes up with a solution, and they just screw over the guy that works in the forge, Zemo's co-worker or boss, I guess, and the escape plan begins. The old lady takes Hermione back to her room, but then for some reason the alarm goes off. The only other time the alarm went off was when Zemo tried to escape, but accidentally triggered a trap. Here nothing happens except Hermione hit the old lady and the dogs started to bark. So why did the alarm went off? All three of them escape using the tunnels. At the same time they decide whether or not to swim across. Lazy discovered that Zemo was hiding the pills inside the mattress. That scene would have some meaning if, you know, we actually knew what the fuck those pills were meant for. While Zemo manages to swim across, girl number 2 isn't in the mood for a swim. In fact, her face just reeks of someone who is going to go back and let herself be arrested. But nope, she goes across and gets her apron stuck. I really thought that after this scene, Hermione and Zemo would just assume that she didn't want to swim and she just turned back. And they would just continue with their escape plan and girl number 2 would have a tragic death. But nope, Zemo goes back for her. And all of them manage to escape Colonia and then she dies. Zemo and Hermione eventually get a ride, and the look on their faces after they realize they are saved. It doesn't look at all like they were in that camp for more than 100 days. This acting is so bland. Hermione realizes that if she hadn't convinced girl number 2 to come with them, she would still be alive. Zemo disagrees and tells her it wasn't her fault, to make her feel better, but it really was her fault. Now we are entering the final stage of this film. Zemo and Hermione make it to the German embassy where they can feel their life and get resources. Hey, if you really think about it, this film is like a video game. A really bad generic video game. After the embassy failed to get them a flight out of Chile today, Hermione calls her friend, the pilot, and as it turns out, he just happens to be in Chile and flying out today. What a coincidence! But before they even start driving to the airport, we have this hilarious, cringeworthy sequence where Hermione starts fighting for the cause.
The photos? You've got them?
Shit.
Just a minute.
What are you doing?
That?
Oh, nothing really. We just forgot the photograph.
Again, who made this? Someone needs to change these films' IMDb status from thriller to comedy, because it makes more sense. They get to the airport and this happens.
Why aren't we getting out?
You're safe here.
Where are we going?
To an underground entrance so you won't be seen. Relax.
Seriously, only someone who has never seen a film or read a book would not realize that this guy is lying. Zemo and Hermione escape and begins again yet another game of cat and mouse. And what a music choice. It's just like those YouTube videos where they put really obvious royalty-free music playing in the background to set the mood. Like me.
They must not reach the plane.
This is the last and final boarding announcement for Lufthansa 723 to Frankfurt. Will missing passengers
That's where we need to go.
Chase stops and this moment really makes you think, why don't they shoot them? If you have the government on your side, there really isn't much you cannot do, especially in a country without much press. And speaking of government, why the fuck is Chile's president here? Who called him? Lazy? Did they arrive at the same time? Why? Why does the president of Chile need to make sure that Lazy managed to capture 2 people that escaped some cult camp? Wouldn't it make more sense for the president to just send out an order and close down the airport? Why is he here? This movie makes no fucking sense. So Hermione and Zemo manage to get inside the plane, but now Hermione's friend doesn't want to take off without a proper permission.
Lufthansa 723, copy.
Lufthansa 723, go ahead.
Flight permit is cancelled. Clearance is void. Please confirm Lufthansa 723. Flight permit is cancelled.
Lena! They've cancelled our clearance.
It's almost like he thought his plane was a safe house, and as soon as Hermione and Zemo got inside the safe house, the people running after them would just stop doing what they're doing and return home, because it was game over or something. The guy does eventually take off and they fly away, but this is the point where I ask, why didn't any of the soldiers just shoot the plane's tires? Or the plane itself? It was on the ground for a few good seconds, but they were too lazy to do anything. But the movie doesn't just end here, it ends with this. this is a final fuck you to the audience. So basically everything they did to get the photos out of Chile was pointless and the movie was a joke. Jesus Christ, nobody really gave a shit. The only reason I'm giving this movie a 2 out of 10 and not a 1 is because it's decently shot and you can watch it as a background noise. It's an awful movie with some decent acting, but that's it. You don't need to watch this movie, it's not worth it, trust me. The only selling point of this film is the fact that there was a military coup in Chile in '73 and there was some cult camp named Colonia Dignidad. Everything else is just bad soap opera bullshit, or even worse than that. I started this review by describing Colonia with one word, nothing. Well, now I'm ending the review with 3 other words, pointless, redundant and retarded, out of 10. Anyway, thanks for watching, hope you like it, comment below, down below, leave a like for that YouTube algorithm and I'll see you next time. Bye bye!